was Holiday Rain by I Am a Smoke Machine. And look at that, my internet has survived that 2 minutes. That bodes well. How are we doing, everybody? Hoping everything is working all good. Sounds all good. Not distorting, not too loud. Sounding all fine. Excellent. We've done a bit of tweaking with my audio. So just making sure that that is all fine. So it's been a little while. It's been a little while since I have done this for various reasons, which we'll chat about, and then we'll play some games and talk about books and movies and such like we usually do. So the first one that I'm sure people who have at least tried to tune into this stream might be aware of is the fact that I've been having an assortment of technical issues. Obviously being aware that the setup we currently have, I'm coming to you from a shipping container, is not ideal for... I'm just going to move that. That's bugging me. There we go. Not ideal. It's a bit of a ghetto kind of setup. And my internet was just getting throttled. I've got my eye on it now, and it's apparently dropping some frames, but not as bad as it used to be. I did do a test, hoping that I wouldn't have to monitor it. It seems all right. I am gonna just do this. It's not going up. It's going down. So I think... can't wait till I don't have to worry about this kind of stuff. I can just stream seamlessly. I think we're back on track. So people who have tried to tune in while I've tried to stream last month will know that I was having issues with the internet, which I've still got one eye on. And I think we're looking okay. God. Like I said, it's a bit of a makeshift kind of setup here. So one of the solutions that we looked into was completely doing a big reinstall, formatting of my computer, which was overdue for anyway.
I'll turn it off.
I don't think that's going to help. It's not terrible. It's only 1%. And it's not just going up and up and up. So... yeah. I just want to... I'm going to do that. Oh, no, don't do that. All right. Let's try not to get too distracted.
Just focus.
Sorry?
Yeah, just focus.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's looking all right. There's no major problems. It's not flashing red at me. So let's just chill until it starts looking red. We will mosey on. Anyway, been having this problem where my stream was dropping frames, so did a big reset of my entire computer. It fixed so many issues, so many things running better now. It did, for some reason, make my wireless card stop working, which we've got to investigate that. So that was an interesting thing. I am now connected via Ethernet, which is theoretically better. So internet should theoretically be good. I think we're good. But then also we just, between the two of us, we only had one graphics card between the two of us for a while, and then only had 2 sticks of RAM between the two of us, as just computers have fried themselves for various mysterious reasons. We currently have 2 working PCs in this room with working internet. So, which hasn't been the case for a little while. So... that has been a bit of a relief. But the biggest reason that I've not really been streaming has been my health. So I'm not going to do a whole huge detailed recap, but just going to talk about it a little bit because it's kind of nice for me just to kind of revisit where we're at. And I've had some, it is good news in the last few days, and I've got an idea of what's going on, which is very good news for all my fellow chronic illness sufferers. You know that the worst thing is negative tests. Yeah, we've got a few unanswered questions in this stream today. How you doing, Zooton? Welcome in. So the immune system is what I'm about to talk about. So people who've watched my streams, my videos before, know that I suffer from a smorgasbord of chronic illnesses. And one of the main things that I struggle with the most is ulcerative colitis, which I was diagnosed with in 2019. That is an inflammatory bowel disease. And if you are not super on board with talking about bathroom stuff, don't worry, neither am I, so I'm not going to go into any kind of graphic detail. But that is a condition where your immune system gets a bit confused and thinks about, basically has gotten confused and thinks that your colon is something that needs to be destroyed. And so that causes a myriad of problems. It's similar to Crohn's, but Crohn's is through your whole digestive system. Mine is limited to one location. So I was diagnosed with that in 2019, went on a very aggressive treatment regimen, and that cleared it up when I went into remission and was able to obviously take daily medication. It is a condition with no cause and no cure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting there. We're getting sorted out. So, went on a daily medication, 4 big ass tablets that I had to take for the rest of my life. But it stayed in remission for 6 years, which is kind of unheard of. I'm very lucky compared to a lot of UC sufferers. And until August last year. And it is a condition that can fluctuate with its responses to medication and flaring up and settling down. But last August, I started getting very, very sick again, like with symptoms reminiscent of prior to my diagnosis and treatment, which was really awful and reminded me of how sick I was, which I'd kind of almost blacked out and was suddenly like, oh, that's right. God, I was unwell. No, I joke about it all the time. No, you are so welcome to. No qualms whatsoever. I will be making light of this throughout my little update here. All good. So yeah, got very, very sick. And contacted my gastroenterologist, who is great. I was able to just email him, and he suggested, hey, so up your meds a little bit and start taking daily enemas. And basically my meds and these enemas is basically just an anti-inflammatory, because what it does is make my large intestine all inflamed. So I went on those and upped my meds, and it eased things a little bit, but not entirely. It took away the worst of the symptoms, but I was still really unwell and things were not quite right. And so I got a couple of tests done, but those tests indicated that there was no inflammation in my system. And so I kind of went back and forth on this for a few months. So like things would ease and would get better, and I was advised to then, okay, cut back on your meds, and then it would flare up again so badly. But yet my tests were saying that there was no inflammation. So not great. I'm not feeling great, and it's not responding the way it usually does. And the thing about ulcerative colitis is that the symptoms of a flare are identical, like there's not remotely any differentiation. They're pretty much exactly the same as the symptoms of colon cancer. And so obviously, that was a bit alarming. And so talking back and forth with my specialist, and in his words, well, you've earned yourself a colonoscopy. My second, before I'm 40. Exactly. Of course you do. particularly when it's not even like they're non-specific symptoms. They are very much the symptoms of it, and ulcerative colitis makes you more at risk for colon cancer anyway. And colon cancer has been in the news so much with people like James Van Der Beek and Catherine O'Hara and celebrities, dying very young from it. So obviously that is in my head. February and March were rough months. I am so sick, very, very anxious, and don't have any answers yet. And exactly right. It was the logical kind of point, since these early tests I was getting were indicating that it was not inflammation, which is what ulcerative colitis flare would be. So went in for a colonoscopy, which, it's all the cliches about it, that the prep is actually the worst part. That is 100% correct. Because not only do you have to drink this stuff that tastes absolutely foul, we can put a man on the moon. We've just sent people to space, and we can't make this shit taste good. It is insane. But there's also all the fasting and the diet you have to go on. So my procedure was scheduled for a Friday, and from Tuesday onwards, you have to eat a low residue diet, basically nothing that's gonna like stain or stick in your colon. So no seeds, no skin, no red, or like I could drink cordial but couldn't have like red or purple. And you know what? The best flavors are of everything, red and purple. But nevertheless, I had to go on this very basic bland diet. And then from 1 o'clock the day before, fast, just drinking clear liquids. And then 6 p.m, drinking this stuff. I was actually out, smoke. My partner had a DJ gig. And so I was out, like, chugging this stuff while that was happening. And I had a friend text me going, "What are you doing out of your house?" I was like, "Look, I'm distracted and actually closer to a bathroom than I am at home." So, and then I had to wake up the next morning. My admission time was at 10:30, at 5 a.m. to drink the next lot of stuff. And on my little instructions, it said, like, you can get up at 4 if you want. And I was like, why would you choose to get up earlier? In hindsight, I probably should have done that, because I probably would have got more sleep afterwards. Because once I was done, it was already 6 a.m. But anyway, all done. Head on down there. Did not have to wait very long, which is great. Sometimes for procedures beforehand, you have to sit in these recliners forever. I also always pack way more than I need. I had a whole backpack. I had my Switch. I had multiple books. I had my podcasts. I had like everything ready to go. Particularly because in those like little pre-waiting rooms and stuff, they have TVs on, and they're usually on commercial networks. And at one point, like, they were playing the morning show, and it was a cooking segment in a room full of people fasting. One of the nurses acknowledged that was a bit cruel. All my nurses were wonderful. The anesthesiologists were wonderful. Everyone I dealt with was really great. I got wheeled into, like, I was waiting maybe 45 minutes, and they apologized for the wait. And I was like, that's maybe the shortest I've ever had to wait for a procedure. Get wheeled in. That's when things start getting a bit scary, when you're in the hospital room. And I will admit, the doctor, he was not like mean or horrible. He was just a bit brusque with me. And when he asked why I was there, he was a little bit dismissive, which I did not care for, really. Like, almost acting like it was ridiculous I was there, which didn't make me feel great. Yeah, the smell is such a huge part of it. And then, the thing is, you get put under an anesthetic. You get sedated for the procedure, so you don't remember anything. And I totally know everyone's experience with things is different, particularly this particular experience. I am someone who genuinely likes going under a general anesthetic. I so understand people who don't, and I know people have bad reactions to it. I do not. And as someone who has trouble sleeping, has really vivid dreams, is very, very anxious, my anesthesiologist was like, "Where would you like to go if you want to go anywhere in the world?" And I was like, "Japan." She's like, "Okay, think about where you'd like to go in Japan." And she starts counting down, and you just start feeling all fuzzy, and it's the most dead asleep you will ever be. I have had this experience a few times going under a general. I quite like it. Exactly, Zooton. And then I woke up not too long afterwards. And the doctor almost immediately came to speak to me while I was still kind of waking up, which was again another thing I didn't super careful. Like my eyes were still closed while he's telling me the outcome. What he was able to tell me was, number one, definitely have untreated ulcerative colitis in my system, which weirdly was a positive thing because that was indicating I was correct that my symptoms were still there. And even though I was doing a treatment, the treatment wasn't working, which is not good, but explained everything. And they did find some polyps that they did biopsies of, but the kind of polyps they found are ones that are very, very rare to turn into cancer. So they were going to do biopsies anyway. Yes, I am in Australia. I am indeed. If you want to share where you're from, you're welcome to, but no pressure. So had that whole thing, ate my ham and cheese sandwich afterwards. Nothing tastes better than the food you have after you've been fasting. But it was still commercial television on in like the recovery room. And at this point, the morning show had finished and they were playing a Lifetime movie called Deadly Mom Retreat. And I say mom because it was, of course, very American. And I was like, is this the best thing for people who've recovering from surgery to sit and watch is commercial television? And so I was thinking about it. It became my like mission trying to solve. Okay, obviously nurses have enough to do. Hospital staff have enough to do. Them worrying about what is on the television is probably not their priority. But you know, we're in a hospital. We have access to anything. What should be on these screens in a hospital? What should be there, right? So I was racking my brains trying to think of the best thing. And I first thought of like Mr. Bean because you don't need dialogue and you could understand it and it's very inoffensive but kind of comforting. There's probably not enough of that to just be on a loop 24/7, right? And I did see you were from the UK, Zooton, so I don't know what your thoughts are on Mr. Bean. Then I thought a marathon of Pixar movies because they're nice, wholesome, comforting, inoffensive. There's quite a few of them now. Oh my God. Yeah. If this was the thing, the waking up to it and then you're sitting there with a ham and cheese sandwich. That's like the blandest food you've ever eaten, watching cooking shows would not be ideal either. I'm not a big fan either. I'm not a big fan, but I just felt like it's, you don't need to be able to hear it. It can just be on the TV. But then I posed the question, my wonderful partner, Smokey, came and picked me up. And I posed the question to him, what should be on the TVs in hospitals? And he was like, David Attenborough. He didn't even have to think about it. And he solved it. And that's the most brilliant idea. No one's ever been more correct about anything. So, that was kind of the problem that I was trying to hack and solve, through that procedure. And I kind of got initial good news, but wouldn't know 100% for sure if everything was okay until I saw my gastroenterologist. So I was definitely feeling more relieved, but I didn't see him until this past Thursday, so just 3 days ago. And so I went to see him, and the first thing he said was, well, you were right. You do have ulcerative colitis. Obviously, and I said, but my calprotectin, this test I did twice, said, that I had no inflammation. And he was just like, yeah, that's weird. And admitted, it's a test that is 95% accurate and good at picking this up. And I just seem to have fallen outside of that for whatever reason. And so then we had to have a discussion about, okay, what to do now. Because obviously the treatment that I was on was not working. And he said, I had maxed that out. Yeah, hearing a doctor say, yeah, that's weird. Yeah, it's always an interesting thing. But like I said, the treatment I was on was basically a hardcore, very targeted anti-inflammatory, and that approach was just not working. So I have to move now to using an immunosuppressant, which is kind of the next level up. And I've been very lucky that I've been able to survive 6 to 7 years without having to go down that route. Because there are some risks involved. They're relatively minor. They're very minor compared to the risks of just having untreated ulcerative colitis in your system. But I have to have weekly blood tests to just check in on what my system is doing, basically. making sure that it's absorbed, and there are a lot of little risks that I have to kind of be mindful of, to see if it agrees with my system, basically. And I have to take a few other things to counteract those at first. Like I have to be on a steroid for a couple months, and it takes 2 to 3 months to start working. So I have a plan, but there's a lot of asterisks to it. Yeah. So I'm hoping, like from reading online, I haven't done too much of that because that's not good for your brain, but a lot of people with both Crohn's and ulcerative colitis have said that this medication has like changed their life. And they were on for a long time, had no issues, and it helped. Like they're not even taking it, and like they don't even have the condition. So I'm hoping I fall into that category. And I'm absolutely open to questions about it. Absolutely go for it. If there's anything I don't want to answer, I just won't, but I won't be offended. Go for it. I'm a big believer that talking about chronic illness things helps more people who might have stuff and not know about it. So that's the plan. I haven't been able to start that yet because, pharmacies have had to order it in. So I will start that on Tuesday. And it was a moment where I had to ask, so this is my new forever medication? And he was like, yep, you're on this for the rest of your life. So questions, before you got diagnosed, did you have to change because of this? Honestly, not really. That's a really interesting question. I mean, it was 6 years ago, so I was like in my early 30s as opposed to my late 30s, but there is not, apart from having to take medication and largely having to like monitor myself because it is a condition that can flare up and down. There's some foods I kind of have to be a bit wary of. I can't take, ironically, I can't take normal anti-inflammatories. Like I can't take ibuprofen. I can't take aspirin. And so otherwise not a lot really changed other than the fact that I was now living with a chronic illness, which is also a huge change. And in answer to that latest question, a little bit, when I got diagnosed, I was reading a lot and watching a lot of videos from people who've been diagnosed with chronic illnesses. There's no cause, no cure. You were living with this forever, barring some medical breakthrough. And how it is a bit of finding your new normal. Like it does kind of divide your life a little bit. And yeah, exactly. Like, this is now something I have forever, and before I probably had it but didn't know. And so it does definitely split your life and just kind of adjust the way you think about yourself. And I saw a really great thing I was very grateful for is the very prominent YouTuber, writer, internet personality Hank Green has ulcerative colitis. So I knew what it was because he had talked very openly about it, and that's one of the reasons why I like to talk very openly about it, because I think it does actually help people, because I think we have a lot of things that we don't know are not okay, and we kind of can ignore symptoms a lot. And he made this video where he said often people who get diagnosed with a chronic illness then want to go back to normal, and you can't really do that. You have to find your new normal. And so I was very conscious that I had now a new normal. And in terms of my job, not really. There are some things in my job that are harder and I cannot always do. And that's the result. Like, this was just the first thing I was diagnosed after 2019 with this diagnosis. For the following 4 to 5 years, I was then diagnosed with a number of other things that are all chronic. So one of them was endometriosis, which I was diagnosed pretty much directly as a result of knowing I had UC, because I was told to monitor myself, and I noticed that I was still getting abdominal pain even though all the other symptoms had gone away. And so therefore that was investigated and found that I had endo. And then my endo diagnosis led to me getting diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, because they are often closely connected. And then that led to me thinking about my body and my experience with pain and how I was often in pain. And then I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which is a chronic pain condition. So it was a big process through the course of all of that, kind of figuring out my limitations. I'm still figuring that out with the fibro. That's the most recent diagnosis, and that's the one I actually struggle with the most, and just kind of accepting what things I can and can't do. So like going on school camps, I can not be, I need to be near a bathroom, for example. I can't go on like really big hikes with groups of students and stuff like that because I'll be in pain. And I don't say limitations is a bad thing. I'm very stubborn. And it's not about limiting myself, but just being practical and knowing, you know what, if I do this, I'm going to be in a lot of pain. It's not going to be good. So I'm going to make sure I look after myself with that. And that can be as simple as sometimes using the lift instead of the stairs. And that weirdly kind of takes me a lot of mental energy to be okay with. And to know, you know what, I'm having a bad pain day today. If I walk up these stairs, my knees are going to burn. I take the lift, that's not going to happen. What age group do I teach? So high school. So from year 7s, about 12 years old, to seniors, 18 years old. So high schoolers. And so, yeah, it's been a really interesting kind of process, and one that I'm still working through. And even just having this flare up again, like I said, I've been very lucky in that after I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, I was generally able to keep functioning. And I know a lot of people with UC can't, or there's a lot of people who carry around spare underwear and do all these things, and I've never had to do that. And so this flare up was actually a very sobering reminder of the fact that this is not gone away, and it's not going to anytime soon. And weirdly, like, obviously I'm so relieved it wasn't cancer. And this was the other thing my gastroenterologist told me, was like, because my all the biopsies were completely benign, and because it was so clear in that regard, I'm actually probably good for 10 years, which was a huge relief. But on the flip side of that, not that I was hoping for it, like, cancer had a very distinct, like, we can do this to get rid of it. There is nothing I can do to get rid of my ulcerative colitis. Have I ever considered giving a talk to my students? No, I've never done anything official, but I do talk to them about it. I teach health kind of subjects, and I do share my journey and my experience with my students a fair bit, when it's appropriate, obviously, to do so. Like, particularly, I literally teach young people with uteruses about getting a period and period pain and all that kind of stuff. So obviously talking about my experience with endo becomes very relevant, because I think there should be more awareness about that. And you're absolutely right that like the journey of invisible illness is really hard, because I don't look sick most of the time, and so and like catching the lift seems like such an obvious thing. And like we did this big hike with a group of students a few months ago, and I had to say I physically can't do that, and there's no visible reason why I can't. And so afterwards, one of the teachers was like, well, so what's the deal? Do you have an injury or whatever? And yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that, Zuton. In my work, I put a lot of energy into making my LGBTQ plus students feel safe and that there is nothing wrong with them. So I'm so sorry that you had that experience. That really sucks. Yeah, no, sometimes there are people who are not worth having contact with. I've been there as well with people. So, yeah, when you're better off not spending time with them. But, yeah. So that's a bit about where I've kind of been at the past couple months. Hugely relieved, a little bit cautious about this next kind of chapter of managing this illness. Like I said, I'm hoping I'm in the camp of the people for whom it just makes the world of difference and changes everything, while being on the lookout for the things that might not go so well. So that's all of that. In more positive news, work is still going really well. Thank you so much. I am gonna play some games and do some stuff in a moment, but I do like just having a chat. You're welcome to check out my YouTube. That's often what I'm doing. It gives you a sense of what I'm doing. Thank you, Zuton. I so appreciate that. Thank you for coming and having a chat to me. It's been good. So, yeah, work is generally really good. It is busy. I teach drama, so that's a lot of directing musicals and productions and things like that. But I have 1 week left, and then we have April holidays, which I'm really looking forward to, particularly as we are getting close. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I mentioned I'm coming to you from a shipping container because I don't live in a house because I'm planning on building a house. And we are getting close. We are getting close to actually moving forward on that. Hopefully in the next month or so we will have broken ground, and then by the end of the year we will live in a house again. And honestly, our situation, we have this and a caravan, has not been as hard as we thought. But it'll be good to live in a house again. Honestly, it's probably not going to kick the door in, but I do live in the country. I do live in a rural area. There are kangaroos all around here. I see them on my way to work a lot of the time. And like just a couple meters away from me. They are here. My dogs probably keep them away, but it's not outrageous. There are roos around. So yes, I have 2 dogs. They're currently asleep in the corner. Whoa, my focus just went crazy. Do we? I don't know if they'll come over. Percy! They're pretty asleep. I think he's asleep. Percy! Yeah, come here, buddy. Come on. So here is one of them. Yeah. Come on, show them your cute little face. He is a lap dog most of the time. Yeah, this is Percy. He's my little boy. He's a good boy. Mwah. I will let you hop down now though. I did interrupt his sleep. And then I have a little whippet called Leia, who I could not make her come over here for love or money. That's pretty much exactly. But then like later on he'll probably be at my feet begging to be allowed on my lap. He does often like to sit on my lap at this table. So yeah, so they're just in their little corner. They've had Easter treats. This property is my mom's. She has a lot of dogs. There are 6 other dogs on this property at her place. And she brought them over Easter dog cookies. So they've had a little bit. Yeah. Yes, this is a converted shipping container. That it has power and electricity and lining and insulation and stuff. But yeah, that's what this is. And then we have a caravan. That's like bed and bathroom and stuff. So yeah. So my partner's set up here. Those are his DJ decks, not mine. Yes, that is the plan. So we've got plans. We've had council approval. We've got most of the quotes in. We just have to organise final kind of paperworky stuff. Yes, he is I'm a Soak Machine on Twitch and various things. No, he's literally sitting right next to me. He's writing music right now because he's a musical genius. So yeah, that's a little update. We're all getting there. So February, March were rough. The annoying thing is February, March is usually my favourite time of the year because the Adelaide Fringe Festival is on, which is a huge arts festival, very similar to Edinburgh Fringe, where artists from all over the world come and descend on my city, and it's great, and I love it. And I did get to see a lot of really great shows. I did miss a couple of things that I would have liked to have seen just because I was not well, either mentally or physically. The most devastating thing, well, one of the most, there's been a few really bad days, but the day I had my colonoscopy, a couple of days before that, I had a message from a performance artist who I love very much. I love her work. She's like one of my absolute heroes. I've gotten to know her a bit because she comes out and hear a lot, and her shows are just amazing. And she was doing a show where she was having guest people perform, and I do a little bit of performing as well. And she had messaged me, hey, would you like to perform at my show on the Friday? And I was like, I have to get a colonoscopy that day. I can't. I was genuinely so upset about that. And there was a number of other shows that I would have liked to have seen that I missed. So that was a real bummer. There's the dog. Yeah, there you go. I mean, there's often a lot of yeah, that's him. He's a good little guard dog. Anything. He's getting put away. There's a lot of travel between the UK and Australia. Horror stories about the spiders. Here's the thing. Spiders, look, they are a thing. But you just kind of saw his chair there as he went to put the dogs away. They are a thing, but it's not as exaggerated it's not as bad as people say it is. You just got to be a bit careful. Yeah, and like I'm okay with spiders. I honestly am. And I know huntsmen are totally harmless, and I'll happily get rid of them. If there are ones on the wall, I don't care. I don't want to touch it. I don't want it on me. Yeah. Snakes, on the other hand, particularly as again we live on a rural property, not good. Not a good time. So yeah. They can definitely get really big. So anyway, I will wrap this up and we will move on to our movie games in just a moment. But The Fringe was good as a good distraction while things were hard, but also it did put a bit of a downer on something that's usually my favorite time of the year. I like I said, I missed a few things that I would have loved to have seen, and just was not in a great headspace, either physically or mentally, throughout that time. But it's all good. We have an answer. We have a plan. I mean, look, that's the case in a lot of places. So you just do what you can. But anyway, that is my little update. Yeah, it's been great you hanging around, Zuton. We're gonna do something I do often here is I play some movie trivia games because I'm a huge pop culture nerd. And so we're gonna do those. I'll keep chatting, of course, through it all. It's been great for you to come in and have a chat. Feel free to come back anytime. Usually this is the time I try to stream once a week. As I said, haven't been able to the last couple months, but hoping that this will be a more regular thing as we go. So, I often play these little movie games. This is called the box office game, and a randomly generated weekend comes up every day, and we try and guess what the top 5 films were at the box office that week. So we've got 2006. It's always good when it's a weekend I can remember when I've been alive for it. It is March though. March is a funny time. So let's reveal our tagline. To leave them now, some men just need a little push. Is this like failure to launch? That sounds like... got it in one. This is the this is the era of like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days was good, so we just put Matthew McConaughey in every romantic comedy now, and it didn't really work. Was a moderate hit, I guess. Debuted at number 1. God, imagine a romantic comedy debuting at number 1 these days. Ugh. All right, we got a Disney movie in its first week. It beat a Disney movie. No, they don't. They really don't. What time is it over there at the moment? Very much so. I have a lot of friends overseas, particularly in America, and just time zones. Ugh, they make things hard. It's gonna be a rough. Is this like? I want to say 3:30. Oh my goodness. What are you doing up? Is it Beverly? Oh, it's the flippin'... Ah, I can't spell. It's the Shaggy Dog. Yeah, it's the remake of the Shaggy Dog with Tim Allen. Oh, dear God. Yeah, I can understand why Failure to Launch beat that one. Oofed. Oofed. Again, Tim Allen, Disney movie star? You liked the Santa Claus, just we keep putting him in things? And we were like, no, thank you. Well, if you can't catch me live, I always upload my VODs to YouTube. But it's, yeah, been good hanging out. All right, number 3. The Lucky Ones Die First. Oh no, this is going to be this is a horror movie. I'm not good with horror movies. I'm not going to know what the heck this is. The Lucky Ones Die First. That tells me nothing. All right, let's get the plot of this. Based on Wes Craven's road trip. Oh, I know what this is. Because here's the thing. I don't watch horror movies. I often read the plot of them. I have definitely read the plot of this movie. And as soon as I see it, I'm going to be like, oh. Yeah, okay. The Hills Have Eyes. Yeah, I was never going to get that. But I've definitely read the synopsis of that movie. Alright, well, we got one witness, 118 minutes. Is this just... It's not just called Witness, is it? Oh, God. This is a Bruce Willis action film. Flippin' hell, I'm not going to know this either. An aging cop is assigned the ordinary task of escorting a fast-talking witness from police custody to a courthouse. 16 Blocks. Yeah, that's a movie that doesn't exist. Final Destination is often where I go when it's a horror movie that I don't know. Oh no, 16 Blocks, that doesn't exist. I know, oh god, me too. And when he was pumping these movies out, we were like, what's wrong? Yeah. No, unbelievably sad what's happening with him. And number 5, we haven't done great here. We got the first 2.
Thank you for loving me.
Thank you for the follow,
Thank
Zutan.
you for being there.
If I'm not saying that right as
Thank you
well,
for
tell
loving
me.
Oh, God.
Everyone's thanking. The whole world's thanking you.
Stop.
Thank you so much for the follow. Come as you are, leave different. Oh, I'm not gonna get this. This is a Tyler Perry movie. I'm not gonna... And directed... Yeah, I'm... Oh, God. I knew it'd be a Medea movie. I don't know what these are. Yeah, Medea's Family. I was never gonna get that. Well, that was not my finest hour. Yeah, all good, Zuton. No worries at all. Like I said, I always put my VODs up on my YouTube as well. I really appreciate you hanging around having a chat. You probably need to go to sleep though. So, thank you so much for hanging out. It was lovely having a chat with you. So, we move on to Cinematrix now. I crushed this the other day. I have no evidence for this. But I had a round of this that was so good. Oh my goodness. Are you going to try and get some sleep? And is that going to be for Easter? Like doing an Easter egg hunt and stuff? Goodness me. Yeah, I've got my little niece coming over tomorrow for that. Yeah. You might need some energy there, mate. Alright, so we got Matthew Broderick, we got Amanda Seyfried. She's going to be my hardest one, but I reckon we can do it. And Reese Witherspoon. Yeah, it really has. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Hope to catch you again. Nice. Yep. Get some rest. I hope you have a good Easter with your nephew, and hopefully we catch you soon. Thank you so much. Thanks for the follow. You too. Alrighty. Let's lock in now. Seyfried I'm going to have the biggest trouble with, but I reckon we can do it. And Reese Witherspoon. Alright. So automatically, the aim of this game is to get the rare ones, not the obvious ones. Let me think. Is Lady Hawk one word? Yes. I mean, if it was two, that would be fine. Haha, good start. We got a young Matthew Broderick. Good start. All right. Amanda Seyfried, obviously Mean Girls is in my brain. Mamma Mia for double letters in title. Dear John, I feel like is definitely going to be one I put in there. Reese Witherspoon, Election, Cruel Intentions, Legally Blonde, I think are some very obvious ones. I'd rather not do the obvious ones. But let's see how we go. What's the method? Oh, you know what I'm going to do for this era? This has got to be. Come on. That's higher than I thought. Ferris Bueller is obviously the obvious double letters one for Broderick. But I reckon we can do... Oh, I should have done the Lion King. Like, I've got ones that fit all these for Amanda Seyfried, but I just feel like they're really obvious ones. I'd love to think of something more unusual, but... let's go... We're just gonna... We can't be here all day. Alright. This is gonna be high, surely. Oh, no, okay. Look, I'm always happy when I get under 20, so we're doing okay here. Legally Blonde is obviously the really obvious double letters in title one. So we've got that up our sleeve. Where do I put Dear John? I reckon we put it here. That's her Nicholas Sparks with Channing Tatum. And I often remember that because both her, Rachel McAdams, and Lindsay Lohan all did a romantic movie with Channing Tatum in this era. And I remember seeing a meme that was then, and none for Gretchen Wieners, which is, you know, a fun little Mean Girls reference. So I've got answers for all of these sections. I'd love to come up with better ones, but I don't know if my brain will manage that at the moment. And we've done pretty good here. Do I do this though? Do I put the sequel in there? That was still 27%. Other people thought like me. Oh well. And look, let's not try and be better than ourselves. Look, 25% still not bad. Oh, Mean Girls is such an obvious one. All I can think about is her and Veronica Mars. But that's not a movie. So that doesn't help me. Look, I'm sure there are so many. Let's not overthink this. It's gonna be like 80%. Oh, 50. Is there another Matthew Broderick that has double letters? I mean, I'm sure there is. Redeemed this. It's gonna be... This is... If I hadn't personally seen it, this would be a movie that doesn't exist. It's him and Meg Ryan. They're spying on their exes together. It's genuinely very cute. if you ignore all the creepy parts, which is often the case for romantic comedies. Look, we did the whole grid. Couple that we could have done better on, but I'm feeling good about that. So what were the most obvious ones that people said? Producers, I'm happy to have avoided that. Happy to have avoided Housemate. Cruel Intentions, most people put there. Alright, and what's the obscure ones that people definitely Googled? Often, yeah, animated ones are good because you forget people were in those. Alright, cool. Let's move on to Cinenerdle. Okay, this is a photograph. Oh. Oh. If anyone had clocked that without without that, oh, and I know the theme. Yeah, puppets. If you look at, I got Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Being John Malkovich earlier this week, and I guessed names in the title. But yeah, all of these movies have puppets in them. Man, if anyone had managed to guess this without the square with Walter in it, that would be crazy. And yes, I know the name of the Muppet in The Muppets. It's a good movie. 2 of these are also Jason Segel. Like, maybe they did that deliberately. Like, they've bookended it. Forgetting Sarah Marshall has a Dracula puppet musical in it, and the Muppet people reached out to him to make the Muppets after that. All right. Letterboxd game, as I like to call it, which I rule out when I'm not getting videoed. But anyway, okay. I have to keep breathing because tomorrow the sun will rise and who knows what the tide will bring in. This is my first time watching Tidal and I'm speechless. A beautiful movie about love, loss, and survival. I don't recognize the line, which doesn't bode well. If it was me, I definitely would have died. Is this... No. To all mental... What the hell is this movie? Oh god. I grew up with... Okay, it's an old movie as an ubiquitous cable staple, always around as an option to watch and often left on the TV before switching something else. Of course, viewing a film for the first time was a Titanic experience. Do we underrate this magnificent movie? We all know about character and the creation of the fire sequence, but the bulk of the film is absolutely astute. A survival epic that is by turns elemental and economical. Mythic image making. What the hell is this? With flashes of lightning illuminating gorgeous day for night landscapes and the magnetic presence of actors close-up, simple setups are made even more elegant by director's camera. That slow push into the flickering flashlight in the cave. The burial of... What is this movie? Is this going to be really... What was the unopened? Oh! It's Castaway. It's Castaway. What was in the package? Yeah, that's not a movie I have seen, I will say. And the line to all men talk their balls suddenly makes a lot more sense. They really get the audacity to grab men's seafood. Yeah, not a film I have ever seen, but you know what? I got that. I got it. The average was 13. That's when I got it too. So, oh dearie me. Then finally, let's check in on our fantasy box office. Now, by the numbers, I'm losing, but I've had more come out, and my two most recent ones have been Project Hail Mary and the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which are gonna get in the black. Project Hail Mary is doing very well. It does have to make quite a bit more to break even, not gonna lie. Super Mario Galaxy movie will do it. The drama was my bit of a risk. So we're both in the red, but I'm so confident about these two as they keep going. I still haven't seen Project Hail Mary yet, and I'm dying to. So I'm, Super Mario Galaxy movie's only just come out. This budget is killing me with Project Hail Mary, but I'm confident we can get there. It's had some of the biggest openings for a non-sequel for a long time. So I'm confident this quarter I would have done okay. The only thing that any of us have picked that has made any money this quarter has been Scream 7. Which is not great, but you know, it's the start of the year, and the first like third that we pick for is always the most challenging because it's often where things get dumped. The summer, oh dear, that's where we are gonna really see some stuff. I've already got Toy Story 5 locked in. She's already got Spider-Man Brand New Day locked in. It's going to be a bit of a battle of the titans there. But let's move on to talk physical media. So for those of you who follow me, I like physical media. DVDs and Blu-rays in particular are things that I collect. I have turned my attention a little bit to CDs, which is opening up a whole can of worms that I don't actually know if I'm ready for. And I'm not going too deep into either of these things at the moment because I have such limited space. When I have a house back and shelves, I'm not responsible for what happens. But we did go thrift shopping yesterday, and so I'm dabbing my toes into collecting CDs. Just dipping my toes into it. One of my least popular YouTube videos, I talk all about that, where I start cataloging the music that I already own. But I'm slowly... I've got a fairly big CD collection anyway. But slowly picking up some stuff. I found this yesterday, which is Tripod, who are an Australian comedy musical group who I love. And this was their Christmas album a few years ago, which is like a combination of funny songs, but also genuinely earnest, beautiful songs. And there is a cappella version of Meet Me in the Middle of the Air that is gorgeous. And this was pretty as well. So I picked that up. In terms of DVDs, I always like to pick up classics because they're often not as available streaming. So I picked up An Affair to Remember, not one I have seen, but one on my to watch list. I also grabbed Fierce Creatures, which is not a great movie, right? It's not a great movie, but it does the thing that more people should have done. And that is when you make a comedy that is a big hit and people are like, we want another one, is not make a direct sequel and force a plot, because comedies are so often either really broad or based on a very specific premise. You often try and recreate it, you're going to get diminishing returns, aka the Hangover movies is a perfect example. But After a Fish Called Wanda, such a big hit, got Kevin Kline an Oscar for a comedy, which is unheard of. People were dying for, another one. So they made Fierce Creatures, which just has the same people in it. This is what more comedy teams should do. Fierce Creatures is not great. It's hugely inferior to A Fish Called Wanda, but they're not sequels, so they don't get compared in the same way. And A Fish Called Wanda's thing just stays. Anyway. I also picked up Bowling for Columbine, which I actually have a weird feeling I have bought before. I do have an app that I keep track of all my DVDs, but I've been a bit slack with that recently. I have a weird feeling I may have even showed it on this stream before. But again, not something that is available streaming, and I think is a very important film, just culturally. I have a weird feeling I already have it, but it was $3. So, and then I picked up a Best of Louis Theroux's Weird Weekends. I love Louis Theroux very, very much. And so having this in physical form, again, $3 for this, not bad. And then in terms of books, I don't have everything that I bought in this particular set on this particular outing to show, because a lot of them are at school. Most of my books are at school because I don't have room for them, but I want to access them. There is a wonderful bookshop that's relatively recent in my city called Goodwood Books by 20th Century Women, and it's a feminist bookstore that pretty much just stocks books by women. And I have been reading Frankenstein to my year 12s this year, and they have loved it. I almost can't believe how good that has gone. But I myself, I love that book. I love Mary Shelley, but I've become more fascinated with her, and I'm kind of working on a Mary Shelley inspired project at the moment. And so I picked up 2 biographies of her, one just like a standard one, and then one that is by Muriel Spark, who I've since learned is quite a big deal. And I love this copy. I always love when I buy secondhand books that have clearly had a life before me. And whoever bought this before me has kept detailed notes. This at the front is like all the details of when they bought the book and why they bought it. And they've only listed September 2018. And so not very long. And then like in the front, it's got other books by the author, and they put the dates of all of them and like made other little biographical notes here. Like here, they put all like Muriel Spark's biographical notes and then all of Mary Shelley's biographical information, which is just fascinating. And then like, again, putting little like addendums about what this edition contains that the other editions of this book do not. And then the whole thing is annotated, like pencil marks, underlinings, like through the whole book there is pencil marks. Again, only bought this 8 years ago. I'm hoping that she chose to return this. But I love that evidence of books having life before me. The other book I picked up, which was a little bit pricey, but I just couldn't leave it there, even though it's a book that I may not ever read. It was a first edition book of, I think it's called Letters Home, and it's a collection of letters that Sylvia Plath wrote to her mother basically throughout her life and right up until her death by suicide. Hence why I don't know if I want to read it. I love Sylvia Plath's poetry. I love teaching her poetry. The Bell Jar is an extraordinary masterpiece. Also a book I don't know if I'll ever read again because it's so incredibly sad. And her life was incredibly sad. And so I don't know how I feel about reading a bunch of her letters. But I just wanted it in my collection. I'm an English literary studies teacher. I had to have it. And it's first edition. It's beautiful. And I love that her mother made this collection to make available afterwards. So yeah, that had been some things that I picked up. The other thing is not like a physical media thing, but just something I completely geeked out about. If you were a Australian millennial, you might remember a product that looked something like this. Little dinky diaries. There were also plenty of copycats at the time as well. And they had this magnetic shutter, and they had this tri-fold in them with a diary in the middle, and then spots to put notes and homework, and then stickers and stuff. I'm having trouble locating. And then, of course, they disappeared because kids don't write in diaries like this anymore. And a friend of mine posted on Instagram, by the way, did you know you can still buy dinky diaries? And what happened was there was a couple of people, millennial women, who were like, we loved these. And they set about basically tracking down the person who owned this IP and bought it from them and then started selling them. Yes, it still has stickers in it. Because of course it does. Right? And after all this mess of my last couple of months, I wanted to just treat myself, and I bought it. And I don't think they've done super well because there's not a lot of them around anymore. And their last diaries are on their kind of stationery website are from 2025. So I'm concerned that this did not work for them, but I'm so happy that I was able to get one, and I've been using it. Like it's genuinely been a useful format of a diary for me. And to the point where I'm like, I'm going to get used to using this and they're never going to be able to find this again. But yes, I have a dinky diary. This is peak stationery. I love it so much. So we are now going to, just for a little bit, start playing a video game. We're going to play a video game on this stream. Crazy. Where are we? Oh no, it closed. So viewers of this stream and my YouTube will know that whoa, are we opening? I played a game called let's go back to camera while I sort this out. Tiny bookshop last year. There we go. Which was all about owning a little tiny bookshop and recommending books and selling books. And a lot of the spaces I was in where people were talking about this game were like, I would love this for a movie store, like an old Blockbuster. And I think a lot of people have had this thought, and store manager sims have become so big that a few people had this idea, because 2 games where you were the manager of a VHS rental place have come out in the last month. There is this one, Rewind 99, and Retro Rewind. And I have played both demos in the last few weeks, and at first I thought Retro Rewind was going to get me. I played a bit of Rewind 99, I went to Retro Rewind, I was like, I think Retro Rewind is better. Then I've gone back to Rewind 99, and I've firmly settled on Rewind 99 to the point where I have bought the full version of this game. It was also a lot cheaper. It is a bigger game. I might do a whole video on both of them at some point. It does have a couple bugs. It is still in early access, as you can see. But there's just a bit more to it. It's got a bit more creativity to it. And I am enjoying it quite a bit. So, and it's you know, look, you've seen, if this was the first video of mine that you've ever watched, you can see this is right up my alley. Now, there is an annoying little bug where I'm at the point where my store is expanding, right? And where you can hire employees to do the annoying little jobs for you. But there is a bug at the moment where if you have hired employees, it thinks you've hired double the amount and charges you double their salary, which really was eating into my profits. I am going to have a quick little check, because other people have reported this, to see if they've responded to this problem yet. Does not look like it. Just a few people saying I am also having this problem. Yeah, okay. So look, it's not a perfect game. It's pretty buggy. Let's just pull that up. But I'm still enjoying it. So, and I really appreciate like the creativity with, you know, you can see it just with these video titles. So I'm not going as like hardcore as you might otherwise, because you do, and here's the other thing that Retro Rewind has that I actually do prefer. This is the problem. I want to just combine the games. This clock never stops. You can have your store open 24/7 if you want to. While Retro Rewind has a very definite end of the day, and then in the morning you can set everything up before, and the clock won't start until you open it. And I do think I prefer that. But you know what? We're gonna make do with what we've got now. Snacks are pretty stocked. I don't think we need to... Oh, is there anything on here? Yes, okay. And is there anything... Oh god, there's heaps in the return chute. Alright. See, this is the things that employees can do for you. But they're too expensive at the moment if I have to pay them double. So I am just gonna close my store and do it all my goddamn self. until that bug gets fixed. So yeah, so employees can like obviously fix all this shit for you and return stuff. Although even when I had my employees, sometimes they wouldn't 100% do it like super good anyway. Rewind your tapes, guys. Like, it's not hard. Ooh, level 9. So most of these shelves are pretty stocked. Yeah, so these are all extra copies. I will put in storage in a minute. So no more returns. That's good. Any... I think we're all pretty much stocked. Oh, I can. Cool. Alright. So videos are all pretty much stocked. So we're going to go back to our storage room. Yes, I did put them in a dumb spot. That's fine. I don't know why I have so many copies of Finding Emo. This one wasn't full though. Let's grab that. Put all the Hubba Bubba there. Do I have a baseball bat in my hand? Yes, I do. Because you know what? Sometimes people come in here and try and hit me with a baseball bat. Now let's see what else I have. Ah. I'm so bad with moving things via keyboard. Did I get something new with my update? Yes, I did. Why does it have a lock there? I don't think it's meant to. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Here is a fun little animation that freaked me the hell out when I first played this game. When you take stuff off the truck, it does that. And I thought I'd done something wrong. I think I need a new shelf though. Hang on, let's see what else I have now that I'm level 9, 10. So I don't really care for any of that stuff. Let's get a few other wall shelves. God, that is terrifying. And I haven't dived into any of these side hustle thingies. I could get a faster scooter. I'm not going to do that. I haven't done any decorations yet. Ah, that's interesting. I'm not going to do that yet. I don't have the money. Don't care about that. Alright, let's just order these shelves. Let's go back in here. I don't need all of these, but I am gonna take the Codfather off the wall here. And stock a Bug Strife. And put The other thing that the other game has is more like customizable options, but we're just gonna deal with that. Okay, so we are now gonna go exploring this world because there are people out there, and you can see up the top, I'm terrible at following these kind of maps, like these kind of compass maps. But there are people out there who have overdue tapes that we are gonna go try and... Where should I go? Should I go right or left? There's more to the right, so let's go this way. I really wish there was an actual, like, map. Let's go this way. Oh, there's one very close. Oh, there, was that him? Yes. Hey! Alright, so. I reckon instead of, let's sweeten the deal. He's given me a bunch of bubblegum and popcorn as well. His video, of course, is not rewound. Now I have to, try, I'm gonna destroy this thing. Without hitting any people. And then I get to steal all their tapes. Last time I did that, that is part of the game, by the way. I accidentally hit one of the people and I started a whole, like, riot. So definitely want to avoid that. Let's see. Oh. I think they're at this house. Sweeten the deal for me. Ugh. Thank you. Oh. Now I don't have any other space, so let's go back to our store. I'll stock some of this stuff. I got most of the tapes. I think there's just one more out there. Eventually, apparently you can hire a Reaper Man to, like, do this for you. But I don't trust the employee system at the moment. This is the problem with playing stuff as soon as it comes out. It tends to be buggy. But I love this open world kind of thing that they've got. Apparently it's modeled on Schedule 1, which I have not played, but Smokey has. Let's open up. And let's put these on the shelf. I think everything else is pretty much stocked, and I'm not gonna worry about much else. Oh, I did not mean to jump. Alright, we brought some slime and illegally blonde. Thank you. Oh, exact change. You're a legend. The people who buy basketballs here are so funny to me. Like, yeah, one time a guy came in and bought like 3 basketballs and a pack of bubblegum, and that was all he bought. And it's like, what are you doing? What kind of choices are you making? There's so much about this game I haven't tapped into yet. Like I said, I'm kind of worried about it because it's so buggy. Oh god. But hoping those things just get fixed because I really like the potential of this game. It does have, whoa, okay. Multiplayer where you can like run a store with friends, but that's in the really early access apparently. I reckon I'm just gonna play this for a little bit at the moment. But I reckon I'll do a stream maybe next week where I play both of these in demo form and compare them, because this and Retro Rewind, because the difference is it's so annoying. Like everything that's good about one is I just want to smush them together. Like they've really nailed some things and not others. God, I hate using the keypad to move. I really, really do. Let's go put the gum back on the shelf. He can wait. Imagine if I had an employee who could do this for me. Hello, can I help you? A soda and Vivi IT. Ooh, people are enjoying themselves. Sweet. That's right. Look how I put the snacks right next to the counter. You know, I was thinking about this, like this whole premise of like renting stuff. Oh my god, that was like $90 that guy just spent. And like when you get an overnighter, we were out here going into a store. Oops, I just gave him too much change. And then going back the next day. That's so crazy. Oh! Hey, Izzy. I'm so in the zone with this game, I'm a bit worried that you've said that ages ago. How are you doing? Oh, thank God. How are ya? I will show you that when this line goes away, I will show you the movies that we do have in stock. Although we are very popular at the moment. This is the one thing I do, like the effort. I don't think so, but you know what? I know I did that in a stream. Thank you, Jacob. That was unnecessary. Here's what we do have. They can wait. We have Finding Emo. We have Women in Black. We have Global Recall, when everything gets salmonella. We have Try Hard. We have A Bug's Strife. We have Austin Trousers, He's Got None. We have Illegally Blonde. We have IT. We have The Codfather. Bad Burger. There's Something Off About Mary. More Bad Burger. We have Lord of the Bling. And I think that's it. I think the rest of it's just merch and snacks. So that is what we have here at Rewind 99. I'm not too bad. I did a big like recap at the start of this stream. I'm not gonna go through all of that again. You can watch the VOD on YouTube. But I saw my gastroenterologist the other day, and basically confirmed no cancer, which is, you know, always good. In fact, potentially confirmed no cancer for 10 years, or at least no colon cancer for 10 years. My biopsies all came back benign, and yeah. This person just bought a basketball in a video store. But basically, my ulcerative colitis is not responding to my current meds, so I have to try a different medication regimen, which is looking at immunosuppressants rather than anti-inflammatories. So my pharmacist has to order that in, and I have to get weekly blood tests to check on how it's going with my system, because there's a chance it could be bad. Confirmed no colon cancer for about 10 years. With the way everything's looking, which is good considering I'm high risk for that. Yeah, there is a lot of potential risks with my new med treatment. So I start that next week. Got to monitor myself really carefully and hope I'm one of the people for whom it is a miracle. Which there's plenty of people out there who that's what they say. And not one of the people we'd sent to the hospital. Look at this guy's outfit. Just take it. This is... Oh no, sorry, Debbie. Maybe this is the Debbie that did Dallas. Because, yeah, sorry, I will take your money. Excellent. It is... We are doing business. So this game has only just come out. It is still really buggy. You should be able to hire employees to, like, man the cash register and restock and do returns and stuff. But there's a bug that I have where it doubles their salary. So it is not financially feasible for me to do that. And there's a few other little buggy things. It also... There's no, like, shifts. Like, you can be open 24/7. So you can close it and do your stuff, but the time doesn't stop. And there's another VHS rental game that came out also about a month ago that has a slightly different way of doing it, where you can, like, set things up before you open it and stuff. I think I prefer this one, but I'm not... Yeah, that guy just dropped $90. But yeah. Oh, nothing appealed to you there? I bet you there's a shit ton of stuff in the returns. Oh no, only 2. Oh, well, now there's more. Rewind your shit, guys. I think we've still got most things on the shelf though. Haven't run out of anything exactly. Except for the basketballs. I'll order more basketballs. I mean, remember this is in 1999. This is... Well, part of the controversy about the other game is that the titles are not nearly as clever. And they seem maybe AI generated. And, like, some of the covers, like, they're different films, but they have the same cover and stuff. Maybe I'll fire up the other one in a minute. To look at some of the differences. I was going to do a whole stream where I just looked at it, but I might just do that anyway. I'm really enjoying this, which is ridiculous. The other one also has a recommendations thing. But yeah, this one in general I think is cleverer. Well, we can't have what we want. I have one movie. Alright, we're gonna serve up these people. And then we're gonna close for the day. Because once I close, the people who are still in here, I have to serve. Hey, mate. Thank you for the exact change. Alright. I'm gonna close. Some people who are in here, I'll serve you. But that's it. There we go. 1. Thank you. My box office game. I did a little update of that. But I can go back to that in a minute. Is there anyone still in here? No. All right. Let's just save that. I think. So my box office game. I'm in the red pretty bad, but I'm gonna get out of it, right? Because I've got Project Hail Mary, which is on track to make much more money than that. Its budget is going to kill me. Super Mario Galaxy movie just came out. That's going to make, $1 billion. The drama, I'm confident, can get over this budget too. But we'll see. So I am losing, but I feel like I'm on the track. These both are going to pick up, and they've only just come out. And are going to be big hits. So, that's where we're tracking that at the moment. Let me see if I can fire this up in a non-intrusive way. Well, let's do that. So, let's... Now, I've only got the demo of this other game. And I'm just gonna... There we go. So seems to be purely a coincidence that these two games came out at the same time. But because, these store management sims have been around for a while and are getting very popular, and obviously people's... Oh no! That should not have worked like that. There we go. This is not behaving, honestly. So already maybe there is precedent for... Why does it do that? So let's just do this. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. Okay. This is running like dog shit, so I am actually going to not do that. And just go back here. I will do a whole stream where I compare these two games and set them up properly. Alright. So, do I have any? I don't have any old tapes out in the wild. That's good. Bunch of people did not flip and rewind their shit though. So we'll get that sorted. And we'll restock shit. And I'm gonna finish up with pretty soon. I'm not gonna hang around here too long. Wait, no. Stock that. Oh, I'm so bad with controlling myself with the keys. It's not a skill I ever developed. Oh my god, rewind your shit, guys. Seriously. I used to have to do this manually, though. So I just get the automatic rewind station. And you can see it's a little bit glitchy. Alright. So... let's do that. Restocking stuff. Again, the game has the functionality to hire people to do this stuff. But only in a way that's gonna send me bankrupt. Okay. We've got pretty much... what do I want to restock? I'll go grab some stuff. I gotta reorder some stuff. Because I do want more basketballs. Because apparently people... oh, why do I always do that. It's really annoying. I don't think there's anything else I want to buy. What's the next thing I'm going to unlock? Another animation. Okay, that's cool. Anything lost and found? Oh, shit. Yes. That scared the shit out of me. The first time I played this game. Oh, dearie me. Alright. Yep, plenty of copies of the card. Alright, put the rest of these back and go get some more snacks. Again, there's nobody... who owes me anything, which is nice. Whoops. Huh. I could order some more Sprite. Maybe should order some of the other flavors. Shall we do that? Snacks. Oh, you know what? Here is my bedroom. I don't sleep in here. I don't sleep. You don't sleep in this game. Because why would you need to do that? Yes. Truck did explode. Yeah? I mean, there's a big poster here. There's the Finding Emo cover art. There's something very dark about him using fish hooks for piercings. Yeah, this is the thing that I appreciate about this game, is so much, I think, thought has gone into so much of it. Alright, let's put these sodas up. I don't know what the fuck that is. Alright. Yeah, I very much appreciate the effort that's gone into so much of this, like, cover art and stuff. It's very, very cool. Let me just fix that. I know, there's something very dark about that, isn't there? I'm running out of fucking storage space. This is not as organized as I would usually like this place. Alright, let's open her up. Do I have any more shit in there? Only a couple. Alright, I'm fine with that. We're open! Yay! Alright, let's do one more day. Have I seen any movies lately? Honestly, not. I'm trying to think what was the last movie I watched. I haven't been to the cinema in a little bit. We went to see Blue Moon a couple months ago, which I loved, and Ethan Hawke should have got that Oscar. And then the latest movie that I watched at home, I'm pretty sure has been Casablanca, which I'd never seen and I loved. The next thing I'm dying to see in the cinema is Project Hail Mary. I want to see that so bad. I think I've only got one more week left of work before the holidays. So, that is on my to-do list, is to go and see that. And then I still haven't finished. I was watching Some Like It Hot the day the fire broke out back in January, and I still haven't finished that. I was really enjoying that. No way! I would have assumed that he would have been like, that would have been one of the movies that he would have, like, seen. Because I know he likes all movies. I loved Casablanca. I could not believe how much I loved it. And not even like, oh, this is good for an old movie, but like, no, this is one of the best movies ever made. Like, for real. It's so good. Because that's my kind of goal for this year, is I'm trying to fill in a lot of kind of classic gaps. Yeah, I can't believe he hasn't seen it 1,000 times. Although, like, the airplane is in it for a very small amount of time. It's quite important. It's quite an important airplane. You don't really see it that much. The thing that's fascinating to me about that movie is just the fact that it is, which I did not realize until I watched it. Like, oh, this is a movie about World War II that came out during World War II. Like, it is set in 1941. It came out in 1942. The war was not over yet. They didn't know how it was going to end. And it's that makes it so fascinating. Like, it's good as it is. Yeah, and I showed one of my classes because I was like, this is so good, they're going to study it. And I didn't know how they were going to go with it. And the consensus was better than I thought it was going to be. They were very nervous, particularly when I told them it was in black and white. Oh, you know, you're back. You're coming back. I could have maybe put a gap here so I don't have such a long walk. You're buying 2 energy drinks? I'm not judging your choices, it's fine. See, I'd love an employee to just do this right now, but that bug will get fixed. I'm confident it will get fixed. And then I can just, like, do the decorating stuff and add, like, there's side hustles you can add. Like, I can put a mechanical bull in here if I want to. Not having employees is saving me a lot of money. Not gonna lie. Oh, look at all these good people returning their shits. Better be rewound, motherfuckers. So also on my list of things to watch soon, I picked up a copy of a DVD of If I Remember. That's another classic that I would love to sit down and watch. And another movie that I know mostly from a modern rom-com. Like, I knew about the ending of Casablanca because of the scene in When Harry Met Sally when they argue about it. And I know about If I Remember from Sleepless in Seattle. Both Meg Ryan movies, I've just realized. There's gonna be a shit ton of stuff in here, isn't there? Ah! Yeah, she's so great. She was at the Oscars in a little tribute they did to Rob Reiner, which was cool. Very sad. That part of the Oscars made me cry a lot. Okay, what do you say is the best part of Top Gun? I'm assuming you're talking about the volleyball scene. She is really good in Top Gun, and I think it was lame that she wasn't in Maverick. She's so good in that. Like, she's only in a couple of scenes, and she's just, like, so charismatic and charming. Like, you feel the loss so much more through her eyes, because she's so lovely. I think she should have been in Maverick. And I liked Maverick. Who walks into a video rental store and just buys a thing of popcorn? And then charges the $1 to his credit card? What are you thinking, my brother? Wish you had more variety of action. I've got Try Hard and a Bug Strife. What more do you want? Oh, is this Debbie again? Yeah, Debbie detached. Hey. Yeah, my favorite one was a guy who came in and bought like 4 basketballs and a thing of bubble gum, and I was like, you know what, you do you. Ugh. $36.52. The other game doesn't have FPOS. Wait, I just did that completely wrong. I reckon next week I will do a breakdown of the 2 video games when I set that up properly. But, the other game doesn't have FPOS, so you're constantly giving change. Which sucks. Oh god, there's so many in here. Ah. Alright, we're gonna shut up shop soon, guys. And I will end the stream once I shut for the day. I know there's, because I want to investigate a whole bunch of things in this game I have not even remotely tapped into yet. Like, apparently you can make your own movies that you then start to sell and stuff like that. But once I can actually hire people and it not eat into all my goddamn revenue, we will explore that. I might shut early. It's a Thursday. Yeah, I'll come back for you, my guy. You guys come in if you want. But then the store is closed. And we'll serve these last couple of people. And we'll wrap up the shift and wrap up the stream. Oh god. There we go. I think that's everybody. Sweet. Alright, we made some good money. Only sold one basketball. We got a bit of restocking to do. Oh god, see, this is the job I hate. I had someone hired to do this shit for me. Though the annoying thing is they don't put stuff back on the shelves, they put it in storage. Restocking shelves is its own thing. But anyway. Thank you for hanging out. I think we're going to wrap things up there. Today was mostly just kind of a recap of where we've been, the tech stuff and my health stuff. So thank you to Zooton for the follow. Thank you to Jacob for the subscription. Next week we'll just do pretty much all video games. I might do like a comparison of these two games. I might dive back into Dream Daddies, which I haven't revisited in a while. Yeah, next week we'll just play some games. I'm hoping we had a few technical issues, but I think we're pretty much solid with this. So I think we're good to go as much as we can be in this environment. So thank you so much to everyone who came and hung out. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube later, hope everyone is enjoying your Easter weekend. And all that entails, whatever that entails for you, whether that's just chocolate or just getting a long weekend. I know in some places you don't get public holidays. I have a 4-day public holiday. I went to the doctor on Thursday. I've had 5 days off, which has been very nice. But anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out. I hope you're doing well, and hopefully you will see me again soon. Bye.